Okay, be honest with me, people. Raise your hand if you actually thought they were going to win in blowout fashion. Wait, what? All you did? Seriously? That was more than I expected. Because I sure the heck didn't. So, with that said, let's do a review. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Drew, better known as BrockShock01, and today, yesterday, whenever you're watching this, the 4-1 Kansas Jayhawks returned home to David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium, and they took on a new conference opponent for the very first time, and that was the UCF Knights. And surprisingly, KU blew the Knights out of the water by a final score of 51-22. Yeah, who would have expected this? Because I sure the heck didn't. As KU, going into the game, were 2.5-point underdogs to the Knights. And it was all thanks to Jalen Daniels being considered out for the game, and Jason Bean was starting, and UCF was going to have their quarterback back, which was John Reese Plumlee, who's got a cannon of a freaking arm. But from the opening get-go, KU did not let off the gas, as they ended up putting up their first 50 piece of the season. Now, as an interesting factoid, this is the second consecutive season that through the first 6 games, Kansas has an overall record of 5-1, which is pretty insane. And that means that this season, Kansas is now 1 win away from becoming bowl eligible for the second consecutive season, which would be for the first time since 2007-2008. That's pretty freaking crazy. Now, were there a lot of good things in this game? You're dang right. Were there some negative things in this one? More likely, if I can think of any. But with that being said, for those of you who do not know, I give positives and negatives about the game, give a player the game, and a player who needs to improve. Without further ado, let's do it. So let's begin with positives. And the biggest positive out of the entire bunch was KU's run game. My goodness, the Hawks were unstoppable on the ground. As KU, and this is kind of crazy, KU actually outgained UCF in total by the run game alone. Kansas finished with 399 rushing yards, so nearly 400. While UCF in total, including passing yards, finished with 371. That's insane. And as an added bonus, if you actually put it into perspective with just rushing yards alone, KU killed them 399 to 202. I mean, that's crazy enough. But the run game, we just found every single stinking crease known to man. And a lot of it were because of big plays of 20 plus yards or more. So breaking into the clear really helps. So yeah, rushing yards, big positive. And yeah, let's give the offense some credit as well, also in the passing game, as if you add 91 passing yards to the total, KU was just 10 yards short of 500 for the game, finishing with 490, averaging just under 8 yards per play. And yeah, the accuracy when it came to passing the ball was way better than Texas, as we were about 30% completion percentage against Texas. Is a big boost to roughly, I think, if I can do my math correctly, it was about 65-ish, give or take. So yeah, a lot of good things came on the offensive side of the ball. So yeah, getting closer to our average in terms of total yards, also a positive. Picking up first downs and converting on third down, also a positive, as KU did so much better picking up first downs and converting on third. KU had 25 first downs in the game, which they had roughly about 18 against Texas, and they did not convert a single third down against Texas. KU improved that drastically with this one, as KU was 6 of 9 on third down. Yeah, did better, and we converted on some third and mediums, which was really good, and also converted on third down in the red zone, which is a big bonus. And yeah, also picking up big first down plays really helped and set the tone. So yeah, picking up first downs and converting on third, also a positive. The turnover battle also won by Kansas, and I'm not really going to touch it very much because it was very quick. There's only one turnover in the game, and it was a fumble made, I believe, in like the third or fourth quarter for UCF. So, yeah, they fumbled once, and KU had none. So, that's easy. Winning the turnover battle, also a positive. Another positive that I've got, penalties. We did so much better not picking up penalties and forcing penalties, as KU won the penalty battle, as KU only had 2 penalties for 20 yards, which I think a couple of them were just holding penalties, I believe, and UCF had 5 penalties for 40. So, yeah, we did really well. I was surprised that we didn't have as many penalties in this game. We could have had a couple, but not very much. So, yeah, this is a bonus. So, winning the penalty battle, also a positive. And the final positives are nitpick positives, as KU won in terms of not having very many punts in this game and won the time of possession. KU had only 1 punt in this game, while UCF had 4. And then when you go to time of possession, KU won the time of possession battle, winning that one with 34 minutes and 25 seconds, while UCF had the ball for 25 minutes and 35 seconds. So a lot of good things happened in this game. And yeah, with all that said, those are my positives. Now, to the negatives, unfortunately, I would say that UCF did pick up a lot of first downs and converted on third down. That's the only negative I really have, as UCF unfortunately had 21 first downs and converted 7 of 12 on third down, which is still less than what KU did in terms of third down efficiency, but that is still pretty high as they're over 50%. So you just got to do better, making sure that they don't convert on third down, which leads to more first downs. So yeah, that's the only negative I've got in my head. And with all that said, those are my negatives. Player of the game, or should I say players of the game, as there is going to be not 1, not 2, but 3 players that I am giving this nod to, and they all come from the same position. Those 3 men are going to be Devin Neal, Daniel Highshaw, and Dylan McDuffie, which was basically KU's 3-headed backfield monster. Let's start with Dylan McDuffie, which is his first nod this year, as Dylan had his best game as a Jayhawk. 13 carries for 91 yards, averaging 7 yards per carry and 2 scores, which he scored his second touchdown pretty late in the game, and that gave KU the 50-piece. But he played a really, really good ball game, and I'm proud of him as he's kind of stepped up as that kind of third wheel, but an impressive third wheel to say the least. And yeah, he was so close to getting 100 yards in this game, but I think he deserves it with his stellar performance and scoring 2 touchdowns, which he now adds to his total, which I think he's now at 3, maybe 4. I can't remember off the top of my head, but an incredible performance by Dylan McDuffie. He deserves it. So yeah, he's one of my co-players of the game. Now we move on to Daniel Highshaw, and he had an impressive game. Had the most touches out of the 3 with 19. Also had 134 yards, averaging 7.1 yards per carry, and 2 rushing touchdowns, which I think that's the most he's had in a single game in his KU career. A remarkable performance by the power back, Daniel Highshaw. In fact, he trucked somebody in the game, which, that was nasty. But overall, he made some great plays in the backfield, made excellent cuts, read the holes perfectly. And I think that's his first 100-yard rushing game in his career, I believe. And yeah, he's on pace to have a pretty solid season in his, I believe it's his junior campaign. So yeah, congrats to Daniel Highshaw. Also, he didn't fumble in this game. Thank the Lord. So yeah, no question, Daniel Highshaw deserves the nod as well. And then finally, it's no surprise that real deal Devin Neal also deserves this honor, as he had another incredible game in his KU career. 12 carries, 154 yards, averaging 12.8 yards per carry and a touchdown. And his touchdown in this game is the longest he's had this season and the second longest, I believe, in his career when it comes to a rushing score. That would be just behind his first, which was an 80-yard touchdown run last season against Tennessee Tech in Week 1. What can I say? The speed on number 4 is getting better and better. He's making better decisions when it comes to the backfield. He's averaging way more yards per carry than I've seen in recent years. The last guy that I can think of that was on this pace might be James Sims, who is one of KU's all-time leading rushers. So, yeah, he's on pace with many of these guys. Now, this is kind of crazy. Devin Neal actually surpassed 4 different Jayhawks to move into the top 10 on KU's all-time rushing list. He passed Jake Sharp, John Cornish, LT Levine, and Puka Williams to move into 9th place all-time on KU's rushing list. That's a pretty decent list and a pretty decent group of legends to pass. Who knows, by the end of the season, there's a good chance that Devin could end up being closer to the top 5 all-time, and we might see his name in the Ring of Honor in the near future. But we just have to wait and see. But his performance in this game really helped his, legacy here. So, yeah, this is no question that he deserves the nod. So, yeah, my players of the game, Dylan McDuffie, Daniel Highshaw, and Devin Neal. Player who needs to improve, I got to say Quentin Skinner. Really didn't see much in this game. He did have a target. Unfortunately, it was overthrown, but I hope to see him get more catches in the near future and kind of help set his legacy as one of KU's greatest walk-ons in football history. But we'll have to wait and see. It's really a nitpick here, so I'm kind of sorry about that. So unfortunately, Quentin Skinner is going to be my player who needs to improve. All right, before I go, I do have a couple top plays for you, and they were really, really long plays in this one. We're going to start first in the second quarter. KU's already up 17-0 and forced a punt from UCF, and Trevor Wilson decides, I'm not going to call a fair catch. I'm going to take this 82 yards to the house to extend KU's lead to 24. So, here's Trevor Wilson's punt return for a score. And the final top play that I've got, we go to the beginning of the third quarter. It's the first play of scrimmage in the second half. And wouldn't you know it, one of our players of the game, real deal Devin Neal, decides, I need a house call. And he takes the opening play 75 yards to extend KU's lead to 31-0. So yeah, here's Devin Neal's 75-yard house call. Those 2 long plays were key for a Kansas victory, and they were really impressive as well. So congratulations to Trevor Wilson and Devin Neal. You two have my top plays. And with all that said, that is going to do it for my review of KU versus UCF. Again, the final score, Kansas 51, UCF 22. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and push that notification bell, and tell your friends about these videos. And I shall see you again for the next KU review, as the Hawks will travel down south to Stillwater, Oklahoma, to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and look to get their 6th win of the season to become bowl eligible for the 2nd consecutive season, which the game should be a good one, as the Pokes are coming off a huge win against Kansas State. So, should be a good one. But until then, have a good day. Never bring exotic dancers to the field house, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.